Welcome everyone to the University Honors Student Workshop in preparation for Highlander Orientation. And congratulations on your admission to UC Riverside and to University Honors. My name is Aaron Bouchon, and I am the Administrative Director of University Honors. I will provide a more detailed introduction in just a few minutes. Today's presentation is being recorded for the benefit of those who are unable to attend and will be available for viewing by all incoming University Honors students throughout the summer. As a result, anything you say or anything you write in chat will become part of the recording. Because we will not be able to meet with you during your busy schedules while you are in attendance at Highlander Orientation, we arranged to meet with you today to ensure that we had an opportunity to provide you with important registration information and to answer your questions. To ensure that everyone can hear the presentation, please do mute your microphones. Also, if you are able to do so and comfortable doing so, we would appreciate if you could turn on your cameras so that we can see your faces. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. In order to make the question and answer session as efficient and informative as possible, please save your questions until the question and answer session begins. Most of your questions will likely be answered by the content included in the presentation. During the question and answer session at the end of the presentation, you will be able to submit any questions you have via chat, and we will answer them verbally in the order they are submitted. You may also use the raise hand feature to ask your question verbally. If you still have questions after the question and answer session, we encourage you to email us at honors@ucr.edu. To begin, we would like to introduce you all to the members of the University Honors team. I will begin with the introductions and will call on each member of the team to introduce himself or herself. Each of us will share with you our name, our job title, our student caseload if we meet with students on a regular basis, an interesting fact, and some encouraging words about the beginning of the academic year. As I mentioned previously, my name is Aaron Bouchon, and I am the Administrative Director of University Honors. Although I do not meet with students on a regular basis, I am always available to any student who wants or needs to meet with me. An interesting fact about me is that on October 3rd, 2018, at a University Honors team lunch, I ate 65 pieces of sushi in just under 30 minutes. If you are interested, or if you don't believe me, you can watch a 3-minute video of my accomplishment on the University Honors YouTube channel, where you can also watch a variety of other University Honors videos. We are excited to meet you all this fall and to work with you over the next 4 years. Although you will certainly visit the University Honors office for classes and for meetings, we also encourage you to visit the University Honors office to study, to hang out with your fellow University Honors students, or just to relax. The next member of the University Honors team to introduce herself is Jane Kim.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jane Kim. I'm the Assistant Director for Honors, and I've been at UCR for 12 years, all of them also in honors. Currently, for caseloads, I do see students with the last names U through Z. However, some of that will be changing during the summer, so just check your emails for how those caseloads are going to change. But currently, I do see students with the last names U through Z. So before UCR, I worked in the legal, nonprofit, HR, marketing, social work, and teaching fields. So I know how it feels like to go through an unconventional path to your career, and I look forward to meeting with you all and speaking with you about what your unique path might look like as you go through honors and UCR.
Thank you, Jane. The next University Honors team member to introduce herself is Christine Parada.
Hello, I'm Christine Parada. I am the Honors Office Coordinator. An interesting fact about me is my dad actually graduated from UCR, and I won't tell you when that was because it was a long time ago. I would like to welcome all of you. We're so excited to have you there. I do sit right in the lounge, so I'll be that face as soon as you walk in the door and see me. I'd encourage you, as Erin said, to come in and use the space. There's lots for you to do in there, places to study. Please also come introduce yourself so we can get to know you as well.
Thank you, Christine. The next member of the team to introduce herself is Latoya Ambrose.
Hi, I'm Latoya Ambrose. I'm an honors counselor. I counsel students with last names A through D currently, even though that might change. A fun fact about myself is I broke my ankle in 3 places all at one time and was told I will have a limp for the rest of my life, but I don't have a limp. I walk perfectly fine. And so I look forward to meeting all of you. My office is the one with all the Harry Potter decals because I am a Potter nerd. House of Hufflepuff in the house. And so I look forward to meeting all of you and also want to let all of you know that you deserve to be here.
Thank you, Latoya. The next member of the team to introduce herself is Myra Jones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to University Honors. As Erin said, my name is Myra Jones, and I'm an honors counselor here at the program. I currently see students with last names PC through T, but as everyone mentioned, that might change in the coming year, so please keep an eye out on that. An interesting fact about myself is that I've willingly thrown myself out of a plane a couple of times and had a lot of fun doing it. I've been at the university for quite some time. I started as a student, got my bachelor's here, and have been on campus over 20 years.
Thank you, Myra. The next person to introduce himself is Oscar Cerna.
Hi all, my name is Oscar Cerna, University Honors Counselor. My alpha split currently is L through PB, but that will possibly change. I am a double alumni, so I completed my undergrad and master's here. Welcome to UCR. I encourage you to make most of it. Definitely any interest you have, whether it's clubs or anything like that. There's like 300 plus organizations, clubs, whatever that may interest you. There's definitely something here on campus for you, so I encourage you to make most of your time. And some interesting fact about me is I have traveled to 11 countries and counting.
Thank you, Oscar. And the next member of the University Honors team to introduce herself is Tammy Wagner.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tammy Wagner. I'm a University Honors Counselor. My caseload is E through K. A fun fact about me is I went whitewater rafting with my grandma when I was in high school, and that was really fun. I also love to play video games with my son and nephew, and I am very excited to meet you all and help you grow in your academic career.
Thank you, Tammy. The final member of the University Honors team to introduce himself will be Dr. Cardulo, who will also talk to you about the purpose of University Honors, our 3 pillars of excellence, our mission statement, and the general characteristics of our incoming first-year cohort, namely all of you. Rich?
Right, good evening, everybody. My name is Professor Rich Cardulo. I'm actually calling you from the nation's capital, not our nation. I'm actually in Canada, so I'm in Ottawa presenting work from my own research laboratory. I just came out of a giant thunderstorm here, but Ottawa, if you've ever been to Ottawa, it's a beautiful city. I guess my fun fact is that 25 years ago, I ran my first marathon. I've since run 15 marathons. And the last marathon I ran, which was the Los Angeles Marathon, was 2019. I ran with 4 honors students, and I beat 2 of them. So that's my fun fact. So I'm going to set this up by talking about University Honors. So the first is to talk to you, why you're in University Honors. And the fundamental purpose of University Honors is to promote scholarship, engagement, and student success. and to allow high achieving students such as yourself at UCR to supplement, enhance, and maximize their experience here on campus, both inside and outside of the classroom. My role actually as faculty director is sort of overseeing the sort of programmatic aspects, including your courses and ultimately the capstone. So based on that fundamental purpose, we have actually developed 3 pillars of excellence that not only influence the programs, resources, and opportunities we provide to students, but also represent the general learning outcomes of university honors. So the first of those is promoting creativity and innovation. And what that means is it refers to the academic component of university honors, which includes courses, but also undergraduate research. And really, you know, as you'll find out, probably sort of the cherry on the top, the real reason you're in university honors is that you get a faculty mentored research experience. So you get to become part of the primary mission of the university itself, which is research. That will ultimately transition university honors students into really our primary purpose, which is sort of to shepherd you through the process of becoming scholars. The second pillar is cultivating a culture of contribution. And that really refers to our commitment to civic engagement for all of our students and engaging students in making contributions to their respective communities, whether that's on campus, whether it's the local community here in Riverside or the Inland Empire, or even beyond at the level sort of state or even nationally or even globally. That will really, for you as first years, will really come to fruition in a big way in your second year as sophomores when you take our civic engagement class. The third is something that UCR is known really well for, and that's celebrating diversity and global citizenship. That refers to the high impact educational experiences that our students enjoy, either through our coursework or other experiences, but also things like study abroad, academic internships, and also various extracurricular activities on campus. This allows university honors students to think globally, but act locally. And you'll hear that a lot, again, especially as sophomores here in university honors. And that's in order to promote their overall student success. So the University Honors mission statement makes reference to those 3 pillars of excellence. So University Honors engages a diverse community of students, faculty, and staff in the creation of global citizens through high impact experiences that emphasize original scholarship, contribution, creativity, and motivation. Okay, so as first year students, there are a number of things that we looked at when you were ultimately admitted here. You all, not surprisingly, have a high school GPA, but it was much more than that. We don't just accept students based on your high school GPA. We're looking for other things that give us a high degree of confidence that you're going to fit in well with this community of scholars, which again engages students, faculty, and staff. So we're looking for evidence, demonstration of scholarship, leadership, and recognition of the value and benefits of actually being in university honors. You also, because you're high achieving, we need to make sure that you're going to be academically prepared to engage in our classes. So you have to place at least into English 4 or obviously higher. And this year's class has approximately 250 students. I will now turn it over to Aaron again.
Thank you, Dr. Cardillo. Now I will review with you considerations for your fall quarter registration, which you will complete as part of Highlander Orientation. Now, hopefully, most of you will be at Highlander Orientation at the end of this week for session 1. Some of you may have been approved for an exception and will be attending a later session of Highlander Orientation. But regardless of which session you attend, the information I'm going to present is still applicable. Each of you should have received via email the following 3 documents: an Ignition Seminar Descriptions document, a Highlander Orientation Courses document, and a Registration Considerations document, each of which is depicted on the slide. I will make reference to each of those documents during this presentation. If somehow you did not receive the documents, please email us at honors@ucr.edu, and we will forward the documents to you again. Everything that I am about to tell you appears on the Registration Considerations document that you all should have received via email. The courses I describe are university honors requirements that you will take in coordination with and/or in addition to the major requirements that your academic advisor will describe to you at Highlander Orientation. By virtue of the Analytical Writing Placement Exam, or AP credit, or IB credit, or transfer credit, all incoming university honors students must place into English 4 or higher for fall quarter. Now, although it seems counterintuitive, an English placement of English 1A, English 1B, or English 1C is a higher placement than English 4 and will satisfy the English placement requirement. In general, unless your academic advisor tells you otherwise, you should plan to enroll in the appropriate English course for fall quarter. Beyond your initial English placement, all university honors students must complete English 1B prior to fall quarter of their second year. And a placement of English 4 or higher for this upcoming fall quarter will put you on pace to complete English 1B prior to fall quarter of your second year. All first-year university honors students must register for an Ignition seminar for fall quarter. The options for Ignition seminars consist of a course called HNPG 16, which, in addition to satisfying a university honors requirement, will also satisfy a humanities breadth requirement. And breadth requirements are essentially UCR's general education requirement. A second option is HNPG 17, which, in addition to satisfying the university honors requirement, will also satisfy a social sciences breadth requirement, or a course called HNPG 18, which, in addition to satisfying a university honors requirement, will satisfy either a humanities or a social sciences breadth requirement. You only need to register for one course from HNPG 16, HNPG 17, or HNPG 18. And the course that you choose is entirely up to you. Ignition seminars in general are small interdisciplinary courses. They only enroll 15 students per section, so probably smaller than most of your high school classes. And they are taught on a variety of topics. Please refer to the Ignition Seminar Descriptions document to learn about the Ignition seminars that will be offered fall quarter and to select the one that you hope to register for during Highlander Orientation. It would also be prudent for you to select a second and third choice of Ignition seminars in the event that your first choice is full by the time you register, or in the event that your first choice conflicts with one of the courses you need to take for your major. The Ignition seminar that you register for does not have to be related to your major. In fact, it would be most beneficial to you if the Ignition seminar you register for is not related to your major. And that's because the Ignition seminars are designed to ignite and stimulate your curiosity as scholars and to broaden your knowledge, your experience, and your education. The registration information for the Ignition seminars, in terms of the days that they are offered, the times that they are offered, the locations where they will meet, and the registration numbers that you need to actually register in those sections appear on the courses document that you receive. So in summary, most of you will enroll in an English course for fall quarter, depending on your English placement, and all of you will enroll in an Ignition seminar for fall quarter. In addition to those two courses, you will also enroll in courses for your particular major, which you will learn more about from your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. There are also some classes that you should not enroll in for fall quarter. Do not enroll in an ethnic studies or religious studies course for fall quarter because, as you can see on the slide, you will be required to take Religious Studies 12H. That's the honors version of Religious Studies 12. Religious Myths and Rituals is the title of the class. You will be required to take that winter course, which will satisfy the same breadth requirement as an ethnic studies or religious studies course that you may take fall quarter. So we don't want you to enroll in ethnic studies or religious studies fall quarter. We also do not want you to enroll in History 10, History 15, or History 20 for fall quarter. Those are the three world history courses that UC Riverside offers. The reason we don't want you to enroll in any of those three classes fall quarter is because, as you can see on the slide, you will be required to take an honors world history course spring quarter, which will satisfy the same breadth requirement as History 10, History 15, or History 20. In addition to not enrolling in an ethnic studies or religious studies course for fall quarter, and in addition to not enrolling in History 10, History 15, or History 20 for fall quarter, you also should not enroll in English 1C for fall quarter, even if you are eligible to do so, because you will be required to take a class called HNPG 2W fall quarter of your second year in University Honors, and that course will satisfy the English 1C requirement. If at any time throughout your University Honors experience, including your first quarter, fall quarter, if you have an honors course conflict with a major requirement, in other words, a course that is required for your major that cannot be taken another day or time or another quarter, or if you have a unit conflict that will require you to take more than 20 units in a particular quarter, or if you already have AP, IB, or transfer credit for a specific honors course, then you can petition to either postpone or waive a particular course. And your assigned University Honors counselor will be able to help you with the petition process if and when that becomes necessary. Dr. Cardullo will now speak to you about learning communities, about math placement, and about the University Honors Orientation that you will be required to complete later this summer. Rich?
Thank you, Mr. Bashog. So during orientation, you're going to hear about your colleges or schools' learning communities. And these learning communities provide excellent opportunities and resources, but for non-honors students. University Honors is, in fact, a four-year learning community in which you will take similar classes and have similar experiences with students over 4 years and just 1 year. So the first year sequence described earlier by Mr. Bouchon represents a specific first year learning community for University Honors students. You will in fact form a first-year cohort. So because University Honors represents both a first-year and a four-year learning community, because the first-year classes must be taken during the specified quarters, and in order to reduce the likelihood of course conflicts, University Honors does not recommend that University Honors students participate in their specific college learning communities. Barnes College of Engineering students and School of Education should speak with their academic advisor about the possibility of participating in their college learning communities, because both the College of Engineering and the School of Education are able to offer the flexibility that might allow students to participate in both University Honors and the engineering or education learning communities. For all other students, including those BCOE, meaning engineering and education students who do not participate in either of those learning communities, when selecting major related courses for fall quarter, you should select from available sections of those courses that are not reserved for your colleges or schools' learning communities, or add yourselves to the wait lists for those sections. So for math, any student, regardless of your college or school or major, who has not finalized their math placement with either an AP score, an IB score, or a math advisory, also known as MAE score, will not be able to register for a math course or any course dependent upon a math course, such as chemistry, during orientation or until their math placement has been finalized. Students who have not finalized their math placement should plan to enroll in a University Honors Ignition Seminar, English depending on placement, and an applicable breadth requirement, leaving room in their schedules for math and any course dependent upon math, such again as chemistry, sections that are not reserved for their college's learning communities. Once a student's math placement has been finalized, the student will be able to enroll in the selected math and any course dependent upon math sections, providing that space remains available, or to add themselves to the wait list for those sections. Students should enroll in or add themselves to the wait list for math and any course dependent upon that math placement as soon as their math placement is finalized, because other students will also be enrolling in those same sections and availability may be limited. And then finally, for the orientation itself, prior to the beginning of fall quarter, you will receive an email with a link to a mandatory online honors orientation module and details about when that must be completed. So once again, I will turn over to Mr. Bouchard.
Thank you, Dr. Cardullo. I will stop sharing my screen. And now is the time for you to ask questions. We welcome you to type your questions into chat, and we will answer them verbally in the order that they are submitted. We also invite you to use the raise hand feature, and I will call on you to ask your question verbally. Please do keep in mind that we can only answer questions related to University Honors. Any questions related to your specific major will have to be asked to your academic advisor during Highlander Orientation. If we don't have time to answer your individual question, or if you have additional questions after we conclude, please email your question to us at honors@ucr.edu. And finally, if you have questions during Highlander Orientation, regardless of which session you attend, as you receive information from your college or school, please feel free to email us at honors@ucr.edu. So I will begin looking at the chat. The first question, how do we register for classes? Do we register with our academic advisor during orientation or another time? Yes, when you attend Highlander Orientation, you will have an advising session with your academic advisor who will talk to you about which courses to register for. And then there will be a designated time during Highlander Orientation when you actually will register for those courses. The next question, let's say we wanted to pursue the 3-year plan for a major. Would that still work for the honors program? Yes, that will work, but as soon as you decide that you're going to be on a 3-year plan, you must communicate with your assigned university honors counselor immediately. So that way your honors counselor can work with you to adjust your requirements to fit within a 3-year time frame. What exactly is a learning community? Could it be described as a framework of classes for honors, certain majors to take? Well, for university honors, as Dr. Cardullo mentioned, it is a 4-year learning community, meaning that you are taking common classes and having common experiences with a specific cohort of students. And in fact, those of you who choose to live on campus will also be living with your fellow honor students so that you can build those relationships, build those connections, build that sense of community. In the various colleges and schools, their learning communities are just 1-year or first-year learning communities. And those college and school learning communities consist of just taking some common courses with a small cohort of students, usually 25 to 30 students throughout your first year, and then that learning community ends. The next question is, what happens if we place lower than English 4? Unfortunately, if that happens, you won't be eligible to participate in university honors for your first year at UCR, so we will have to rescind your admission. However, if you earn at least a 3.5 cumulative GPA during your first year at UCR, it is likely that we will send you an email next spring inviting you to apply to join university honors for your second year at UCR. And at that point, your English placement potentially will not be the same issue that it is this year. The next question, I didn't understand the note you gave about BCOE students and their learning communities. Essentially what Dr. Cardullo was saying to Bourne's College of Engineering students and School of Education students is that the learning communities in the College of Engineering and the School of Education are flexible enough so that it may be possible for you to participate both in university honors and in your College of Engineering or School of Education learning community, but you should talk to your academic advisor to confirm that that is a possibility. In all of the other colleges and schools, the learning communities simply are not flexible enough to accommodate university honors. So that's why we do not recommend that you participate in your college learning community. The next question is, despite our major, are all university honors students required to take the MAE? No. The only students who are required to take the MAE are students who are in majors that require math. So the information that Dr. Cardullo mentioned about taking the MAE and not being able to register for a math course until you have a math placement only applies to students generally in sciences and engineering who are required to take a math course for their particular major. Is there a limit to the amount of units per quarter? Yes. UCR does not allow students to take more than 20 units per quarter, which in general is 5 classes. That's a pretty heavy load. Most students take between 12 and 16 units per quarter, which is 3 to 4 classes per quarter. How would honors orientation work if we are doing orientation at a later session? Well, the answer to that question differentiates between Highlander Orientation, which begins this week and continues throughout the summer. And those are the different sessions. And although we required honor students to be in session 1, we did grant some exceptions to that and understand that some of you may not have been able to get into session 1. So you will be attending a different session of Highlander Orientation. But the honors orientation is just an online module that all of you will have to take at the very end of the summer, right before fall quarter begins, And that's not related at all to the session of Highlander Orientation that you will take. The next question, is there a requirement for which math class we need to take? Well, that's dependent upon your major, whether it requires math or not, and also on your math placement, and your academic advisor will discuss those details with you at Highlander Orientation. The next question is, does an AP World History score fulfill the credits for Honors World History class? No, it doesn't, because although AP World History will give you general world history credit here at UCR, the AP World History test does not satisfy a specific course requirement. So it does not specifically satisfy History 10, History 15, or History 20, and it is one of those specific courses that will be offered spring quarter and required for first-year university honors students. Next, is there a way to see which classes are reserved for other learning communities? Yes, when you review the schedule of classes at Highlander Orientation, which your academic advisors will teach you how to do, it will be very clear which sections of classes are reserved for learning communities and which are not. So those of you who will not be participating in your college learning communities will need to select sections that are not reserved for learning community students and open to the general student population. Next, would we still have to take the same course requirements if we join honors in our second or third year? Well, in university honors, there are specific requirements for first-year students, for second-year students, for third-year students, and for fourth-year students. If you join as a first year, you have to take all of those requirements. Students who join as second-year students just begin with the second-year requirements. The first-year requirements no longer apply to them. Similarly, students who join university honors as third-year students begin with the third-year requirements, and the first-year requirements and second-year requirements don't pertain to them. Does English 101 count for English placement credit? That depends on where you took that class and also on the articulation agreement, which basically means what UCR course that English 101 course satisfies. Your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation will be able to check your credit and tell you what UCR course it satisfies, if any. Next, does a submitted SAT score satisfy our English requirement and will be placed into English 4 or higher? I believe that a specific score on the SAT does satisfy the analytical writing placement exam and will place you into an appropriate English class that will be higher than English 4, but that is something that you should confirm with your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. Next, what English course should we take if we placed into English 1C? If you placed into English 1C, you don't have to take any English course. Certainly not fall quarter, not your entire first year, because when you take HNPG 2W fall quarter of your second year, that will satisfy the English 1C requirement, and no student has to take English composition beyond English 1C. English 1C is the last class. So those of you who placed into English 1C, you don't have to worry about English at all, and you will satisfy the English 1C requirement with the HNPG 2W course that you will take fall quarter of your second year. What were the classes to not enroll for again? For fall quarter, don't enroll in an ethnic studies class, a religious studies class, or a world history class. And that means history 10, history 15, or history 20. And for the ethnic studies and religious studies courses, there are a variety of them that are offered. We don't want you to enroll in any of them because you're going to satisfy that ethnicity and religious studies requirement with Religious Studies 12H winter quarter. Does sending AP scores automatically grant you eligibility to register for a math course, or do you have to do something? As long as UCR has received your AP math score, and as long as you earn a 3, 4, or 5, that will automatically place you into the appropriate math course that your academic advisor will confirm for you, and you will be automatically able to register for that appropriate class. Next, when browsing available class schedules for this fall, I realized we need to sign up for all linked classes to the main class we register for to fully register in the classes, like discussions or labs. When looking at all linked stuff, I noticed there are several discussions. Do we sign up for all discussions or only one? These discussions can create conflicts with our other classes, right? Yes. So in general, you will register for a lecture section of a particular course and then a corresponding discussion or lab section. And there may be different options for the lecture. And as this question suggests, there will certainly be several options for discussions. You only have to register for one lecture section and one discussion section, or if it's a science class, a lab section, and you can pick the ones that fit best into your schedule, considering the other courses that you have to enroll. Next, I did my MAE math exam and I was placed into the ARC 35 math course. Will that prohibit me from university honors? I'm doing sociology and Chaz. Is there a specific requirement for math at the university honors? No, university honors does not have any math requirements. Any math courses that students take as university honors students are dependent upon their major and required for their major. And so regardless of whether you have to take a math class for your major or not, regardless of what math class you placed in, will not affect your enrollment in university honors at all. What should we do if our AP exam score hasn't been processed yet and we are not able to take the MAE test since our orientation is in just a couple of days? Well, many students are going to be in that situation because it's right about now when the AP exam scores arrive at UCR. And so it is possible that your AP exam score may not be in the system by the time you get to orientation. And if that's the case, whether it's for math or English or any other AP score that you have, it just means that you won't be able to enroll in a course that is dependent upon that score, and you will have to wait until that score is in the system, which hopefully will be the days following your orientation session, and then you will be able to log in and register for the appropriate course. Next, what does it mean if we placed into English 4? Does it satisfy the honors requirement? If we place in English 4, does University Honors recommend taking the HESA program during the summer? Well, first of all you need to do is place into English 4 or higher. So if you placed into English 4, you have satisfied our English placement requirement and you'll be fine as far as University Honors is concerned. Whether you enroll in the HESA program, which is the Highlander Early Start Academy program that occurs over the summer and allows students to take some courses to get ahead or catch up for fall quarter, that's entirely up to you. University Honors does not make a recommendation one way or another. That is entirely a personal decision. How do we register for the classes mentioned earlier? Is there a website for it? Yes, you'll learn about that at Highlander Orientation. Your academic advisor will teach you how to register for courses and will likely be present during the registration period to answer any questions you may have. But yes, it is on a website. AP Calculus AB score. If you have an AP Calculus AB score, you'll be told what math course to enroll in for your particular major. There is a course that is required, a workshop class for Chaz students, but it is a recommendation for honor students. Should I still take it or is it not recommended? I'm not quite sure what course you are referring to, but I would suggest that you speak with your academic advisor when you get to orientation. If that recommended workshop is part of a Chaz learning community, then the answer is no, you should not enroll in it, because in order to avoid the conflicts that we talked about before. But you can discuss that with your academic advisor, your Chaz academic advisor. Next, the roommate I got happened to be a non-university honors student contrary to what the housing website said about only seeing other honors students in our search for roommates. I'm not sure why that happened. You should probably contact housing services to make sure that it's okay for you to room with that student. Maybe they had extra spaces in Pentland Hills and the University Honors Living Learning Community. And if so, they can confirm that, or they will confirm that you have to find a roommate that is in University Honors. If you place into English 1C, do you test out of English 7? No. When you take HNPG 2W, fall quarter of your second year, there is a companion course that is called English 7, and that is a companion course to your specific HNPG 2W course, so you have to take both of them. But for all of you, that's not going to be applicable until a year from now. And I was wondering, because English 7 is a prerequisite for one of the classes I wish to enroll in fall quarter. I'm not sure what course that refers to, but you may want to talk to your academic advisor about that during Highlander Orientation. What if we attend the early start program? Will that affect us as honor students? No, it will not. Will our academic advisor during orientation know the honors requirements needed for registration? Yes, we have communicated that to them, but they're not required to know all about university honors. And so if they forget, or if they don't know, or if they don't have that information on hand, you will know. That's why we forwarded you the documents we forwarded you via email. I suggest that you have those available during Highlander Orientation. And of course, that's also why we're talking to you tonight. So that way you know, and you don't have to rely on your academic advisor to know. When we register for classes at orientation, is it only for the fall session or the whole year? It is only for fall quarter. And then throughout your 4 years at UCR, each quarter, you will register for the subsequent quarter. So at some point about halfway through fall quarter, you will begin registering for winter quarter, and then that pattern will repeat itself throughout your 4 years. When do we enroll for the honors ignition seminars? During Highlander Orientation? Yes. When you are registering for your fall quarter classes during Highlander Orientation, in addition to registering for the courses that are required for your major that your academic advisor will explain to you, and in addition to registering for an English course, depending on your placement, you will also enroll in your honors ignition seminar, and you've got all the information that you need to register for those courses in the documents that we email to you. Next, I'm a math-based major, and I scheduled my MAE test for next week. Since my orientation is this week, what classes should I enroll in? If I have to wait until my math placement is finalized, how would I then enroll in classes? Well, your academic advisor will tell you what math course you need to enroll in. But in general, it's going to depend on your placement, and also what courses are required for your major that may depend on math, such as chemistry. If you don't have a math placement by the time you register later this week, which it sounds like you won't be able to register for those classes, but you'll be able to continue to register beyond this week. Registration stays open. And so once you get that math placement, then you'll be able to enroll in the appropriate math course and any courses that are dependent upon that math course, for example, chemistry. So as a university honors student, we will be having 2 advisors, both honors and academic. Yes, and that is one of the many benefits of university honors. You will have your academic advisor for your major related concerns, and you will have your honors counselor for your university honors questions and concerns. How can we find the list of honors courses that may be accounted for by AP credit for petitions? Generally, there aren't any, and there certainly isn't a list. And basically, if you have AP credit specifically for Religious Studies 12, and AP credit does not exist for that, or if you have AP credit specifically for History 10, History 15, or History 20, and AP credit does not exist for that, that's really when you would need a petition. So in general, that's not going to be an issue, but ultimately your university honors counselor can help you to determine those things once you start talking to them fall quarter. I placed into English 1C for this year. Do we not take an English course, or is there another course we should take? Yes, I referred to that earlier. If you place into English 1C, you don't have to take an English course your entire first year, and you will ultimately satisfy your English 1C credit by taking HNPG 2W, an honors requirement, fall quarter of your second year. I was scheduled to take my MAE exam earlier today. However, I was not able to due to technical difficulties. I am attending the July 13th and 14th orientation sessions later this week. Will this be an issue when I register for classes at orientation session 1? If so, how can I solve these issues beforehand? Yes, it's going to be an issue. You really can't solve the problems before orientation. You'll just simply have to take the MAE the next time it is offered. And then once you get your math placement, you will be able to retroactively enroll in the appropriate math course and other courses. But while you're at Highlander Orientation this week, you'll still be able to enroll in English and your Ignition seminar and perhaps some other courses recommended by your academic advisor. You'll just have to wait to enroll in your math course and any courses that rely on that math course. When will the ELWR score be available? Your AWPE score should be available shortly after you take it. You can contact the Academic Resource Center and through placementtest.ucr.edu to find out more about that. But you can also ask your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. Does honors have any math or science course requirements? No. Any math or science course requirements will just be related to your particular major. What was the note about the registration documents? You should have received the registration documents via email, and we suggest that you have those available to you when you attend Highlander Orientation. If somehow you did not receive them from us, please email us at honors@ucr.edu and we will forward them to you again. If we have transferable credit that covers English 1A through 1C, would we need to take an additional English course? No, but you still will need to take HNPG 2W fall quarter of your second year. Does AP English Lit credit cover both ELWR and honors requirements? Yes. How do I know if my AP language and composition scores have been received by the university so I can register for English 4 or higher? Well, you can do one of two things. You can either contact College Board to ask if they have sent the scores. You can perhaps contact the admissions office here at UCR to ask if they've received the scores, or you can simply ask your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation because they will be able to see the scores if they are in the system. Is there a pre-orientation module that we have to complete before orientation? For Highlander Orientation, yes, there is. And if you're not familiar with what that is, you should access the Highlander Orientation website. For University Honors, there is just simply an online module that you will need to take prior to the beginning of fall quarter, and we will communicate with you about that module later this summer. You talked about the MAE being for science and engineering. Is it required for pre-business? I think it is, because business does require calculus, although you can confirm that with your academic advisor. And yeah, it looks like somebody also helped you out and responded to that. What is HESA? As I mentioned, HESA is the Highlander Early Start Academy. That's just an opportunity for students to come to UCR this summer and take a couple of classes. You can find out more about that on the Academic Resource Center's website. And as I mentioned, it's not related at all to University Honors, so participation is entirely up to the individual student. Is it true that students create a proposed schedule and show it to their counselor at UCR for them to approve and register the student into classes? If not, what is the actual process on how students can apply for their classes? When you attend Highlander Orientation, you will meet with an academic advisor for your major. They will describe the courses that you should take. They will describe the registration process, And then with that information, you will then access the registration website and register for your own classes. Okay, will we be able to register for classes if our high school transcript was sent to UCR prior to the deadline, but our portal shows UCR hasn't received it? That's a question for the admissions office. Generally, your high school transcript has no bearing on registration. It just has a bearing on confirming your admission to UCR. But you can contact the UCR admissions office to ask that question. I saw that receiving a score of 2 on the AP Calculus AB exam will allow a student to enroll in Math 4 or 5. Would I still need to take the MAE to be placed into a math course? I don't know if that information is accurate or not. Presuming that it is and it places you into Math 4 or 5, then no, you wouldn't have to take the MAE, but you should ask that question to your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. Is academic advising during orientation one-to-one or a group session with other fellow majors? It is a group session. At each session of Highlander Orientation, there will be 450 first-year students on campus, divided into their respective colleges and majors. And so you will be with the group of students that are in your similar college and or major when you receive advising. If a class is currently said to be full, is that for returning students or will they open additional spots for incoming students? That depends on the course. Generally for courses that are appropriate for first-year students, the department will gradually open additional spaces throughout the summer, so that way people who come to the later sessions of Highlander Orientation will have spaces available, but it may be, depending on the course, that course is already full because the continuing students who will be second year and beyond in the fall have already registered for that course. But that's also something you can ask your academic advisor about at Highlander Orientation. I received an email with the link to the pre-orientation module, but the link doesn't work and orientation is Thursday. What do I do? I would suggest contacting the Highlander Orientation office directly, either by phone or by email. I already emailed them, but they said it isn't available yet until they send me the link, but they already did. You might just want to try to call them and explain the situation. Since we are freshmen and also don't need a time ticket like other classes to register, correct? Well, your time ticket is based on your orientation session because my student profile displays my time ticket is not provided. And your time ticket is related to the session of Highlander Orientation that you attend. That's when your registration will begin, and then you will be able to continue to register even after that session. When checking my holds on my student profile on our web, it says some system notifications are informational only and do not stop registration nor require further action. I may sound paranoid, but this means I have nothing holding me back for advising, correct? That's what it sounds like to me. But once again, you can confirm at Highlander Orientation. And if in fact there is a hold, your academic advisor can help you to figure out how to clear that. If you haven't finished your immunizations, will you be stopped from enrolling during orientation? I'm not sure. You can contact the Student Health Center to ask that question, or perhaps access their website. I think in general, there's a window of time for you to be immunized, but that's a question for the health center. How do we know when our math and English placement is confirmed? Is it when it shows up in our student profile? Generally, yes. And if you have trouble or have questions, you can ask your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. Do we have to submit immunization before orientation? Once again, I would refer to the health center's website for that information. When will we meet with the academic advisor at Highlander Orientation? Generally, and Myra, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's on day 2, the second
correct. Day 2, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12:30 when they receive advising and will register for courses.
Yeah, thank you, Myra. My high school transcript has been sent to UCR, but they have not processed it yet. processed it yet, and my orientation is later this week. Will this cause any issue for registering for courses? I don't think so, but you might want to contact the Office of Undergraduate Admissions to ask them that question. Are there requirements to staying in honors all 4 years? Also, is there any recommended materials or things to bring to Highlander Orientation? Well, bring your honors documents to Highlander Orientation. And in terms of remaining in honors all 4 years, Jane, do you or one of the counselors want to answer that question?
Can you repeat the question?
Are there requirements to staying in honors all 4 years?
Yes. Well, I mean, aside from the course requirements that Aaron has kind of reviewed here, there generally is a requirement to meet with your counselor in any given quarter. With the first year students, you do have to attend what's called a group hangout, and you're going to be meeting with the ambassadors to do that. And that's going to happen in the fall quarter. And that information will be emailed to you all. So that's a requirement that you have to complete. That's not a course requirement. And then also you will have to answer a winter annual survey that we send out to the all of the students in the winter. So those are the non-course requirements that happen in your first year.
Thank you, Jane. And for those of you who are curious, if you go to the honors website, honors.ucr.edu, and click on requirements, you will be able to see the requirements for all 4 years. There is also a GPA requirement for remaining in honors, although it's not outrageous. It's 3.25 cumulative GPA from year to year. I was wondering if you would know if for honors orientation, we will be provided food and sleeping arrangements. Also, what time would we need to get on campus by and what part of campus? I could not really find this information in my email. Honors orientation, which is not going to occur until the end of the summer, it's an online module. You don't have to report anywhere. You don't have to show up. You're not going to need to eat or drink anything, or if you do, you can provide it yourself. You'll just log into your computer and take the online modules at your leisure, but by the deadline that we specify. I know for sure if you have taken your English placement test, okay, I think this is an answer to one of the questions. Okay. I completed a college English comp class that satisfies the English exam. So does that mean I won't have to take it? Yes, generally that's true, although you may want to check with your academic advisor. All the modules we have to complete before attending orientation the ones on Canvas, or is that something different? If you're talking about the pre-orientation module, I believe that is on Canvas. Is that right, Myra?
Yes, there's also some of the colleges also have modules that they want them to review prior to their advising and registration session with some general information.
Yeah, thank you for that. Will we be able to register for classes if our high school transcript was sent to UCR prior to the deadline, but our portal shows UCR hasn't received it? Well, once again, you should probably refer that question to the admissions office to confirm whether they've received it, and also to ask if that will impact you at Highlander Orientation. Are there any breadth requirements that are not fulfilled by honors courses? Yes, most of the breadth requirements are courses that you'll have to take independently. It just so happens that your Ignition seminar, your honors religious studies course, and your honors world history course will also satisfy some of your breadth requirements. But there are several other breadth requirements that you will have to take independently, just like any other non-honors student. Let's see. Is there a pre-orientation module that we have to complete before orientation? Yes, that's the pre-orientation module for Highlander Orientation. And if you have questions about that, you can check the website or contact the orientation office directly. For those curious about pre-orientation, I contacted admissions and they said they are aware of a delay releasing the pre-orientation module, and it will not be required to have been taken before the Highlander Orientation session this week. Okay, thank you for that. That's helpful. And hopefully that answers some of the questions that other students have had. Is there somewhere we can access the schedule for honors session 1 orientation so that we know when and where to show up on each day? once you check in for session 1, you'll get a schedule for all 2 days, and you're going to be led around by what's called an orientation leader, an older student who is trained in orientation. They're going to take you everywhere you need to be, but you will also receive
sorry, Erin. The email that I sent to you yesterday and last week has an actual breakdown of everywhere University Honors will be present, where you can see us, find us, ask us questions, both for you and for your parents or guardians at the family orientation. So definitely take a look there to see where we're going to be available to you guys so you can come see us.
Thank you, Myra. It looks like somebody also provided an answer regarding immunizations not required for orientation, only for beginning classes in September. So providing that's true, and I have no reason to doubt that answer, then the students who have questions about that can hopefully rely on that answer. How do you contact the admissions office? It looks like somebody provided a link there. You can also just search for it on the UCR website. Go to ucr.edu and you can search for the admissions office. Jane provided the link to the honors requirements. What are the sleeping arrangements? And what does the student need to bring for Highlander orientation this coming Thursday and Friday? You will be paired with a roommate, and you will be housed in the residence halls. In terms of what you need to bring, that information should be on the Highlander Orientation website. And it looks like somebody provided that link as well. Thank you for that. What time do we have to be on campus and what locations? That's also provided on the Highlander Orientation website. And finally, maybe not finally, I just saw another one come in. What part of campus do we check in for session 1? That will also be on the Highlander Orientation website. And somebody just wrote Pentland Hills. By chance, do you know what time we have to check into session 1? I would refer to this Thursday, if we're not taking the ELWR, I would refer to the Highlander Orientation website. You said this was recorded, right? Yes, that is recorded. And Myra, do you want to tell them where they can find the recording?
Yes, I will be sending them a link. I will be uploading it to our YouTube channel, but also sending you a link to where you can access it once it's been downloaded, and I can send it over to you guys.
Yeah, so we should have that posted and available sometime tomorrow. We, as Myra said, we have to download it from Zoom, and then Myra has to post it, but it should be available sometime tomorrow. What is the lowest class placement you can get by taking the AWP? English 4 is the lowest. You can't place in anything lower than English 4. It has to be English 4 or higher, which, as I mentioned, includes English 1A, 1B, 1C. Those are all higher than English 4, despite having a lower number. Will the cost of Pentland Hills be covered by the program, or do we have to pay for it? Well, staying in Pentland Hills during Highlander orientation is covered by your Highlander orientation fee, and then living in Pentland Hills as part of the living learning community for University Honors, individual students have to pay for their residence hall just as non-honors students do. What time do we have to be on campus? We talked about that. You can find that on the Highlander Orientation website, but it also looks like another student provided some information. What English classes can you be placed in after the placement exam? There are a variety of them. There's a basic writing course. I think it's called Basic Writing 3. There's English 4, English 1A. Those generally are the 3 that result from the English placement exam. How are food and allergies going to be handled at orientation? They will be able to accommodate the allergies. I presume that you had to specify those allergies when you signed up, but even if you didn't, there will be food options that are conducive to any kind of allergies that people may have. Okay, yeah, looks like somebody else had responded to that. Does anybody have any other questions that they want to put in chat or ask verbally? If not, we wish you a successful and productive Highlander orientation, once again, regardless of when you attend, and we will look forward to seeing you in September although it does look like a couple other questions just came in. I am an international student. I plan to take the AWPE, but I can only do it in September. That will be fine. It just means you won't be able to register for your English course until that time. And then are the ELWR and AWPE different tests? The AWPE is the test, analytical writing placement exam. ELWR is the requirement, English language writing requirement that the AWPE satisfies. So no, they're not different tests. One of them is a test and one of them is the requirement that the test will satisfy. Could I have the link to the orientation information? Sorry, I'm having trouble finding it. It should just be orientation.ucr.edu. But
it is possible that they haven't sent it to them yet. You could call the orientation number and find out if it's been sent out yet or not, but they will provide you an electronic copy or PDF with any applicable links that you might need, and an exact breakdown of where you need to be, when you need to be there, and when you need to be there and where. It's just maybe possible that they haven't sent it out yet. I would call the orientation number to ask whether it's been sent out yet or not. And if it hasn't, you should get it definitely prior to the event. According to the schedule they provided me, on day one, students who are going to be testing on day one are going to start checking in at 7 a.m. at Pentland Hills, and students who have no testing would start checking in at 9 a.m. But again, this is just according to the schedule they provided me. I would wait for that electronic one that they provide to you, the official one that they're going to send you.
Yes, thank you, Myra. If I have previously satisfied the ELWR, what English course does that satisfy, or what ones will I end up taking at UCR? At minimum, if you satisfy the ELWR, you place into English 1A, but that is a question for your academic advisor at Highlander Orientation. Would coming in as a sophomore place you within second year requirements? No, even if you're coming in as a first year student, but with sophomore standing, that just means that you have a whole bunch of units, probably from AP and IB, but that does not change your cohort in university honors. You would still be taking first year university honors requirements. Do AP credits allow you to skip later honors required classes? No, your AP scores will not impact any of your university honors requirements. I placed in English 1B. Can I register for that course along with the admission seminar? Yes, absolutely you can. Okay, then there's some additional information about links to orientation. The information that Ms. Myra Jones is talking about has been sent via email. Okay, thank you for that confirmation. For the ELWR, if we have the needed requirements already completed due to AP scores, but the school hasn't processed one's scores, what do we do? That's the same situation for students who need to enroll in math and their math AP score hasn't been received yet. It just means you won't be able to enroll in English until your AP scores have been received by UCR. But then once they are, you'll be able to go in and enroll in English at that time, even if it's after you attend Highlander Orientation. If I need to take a test for orientation, will I be emailed? I'm not sure about that. I think that really the only two placement tests that are required are the math advisory exam for those students who need to take a math course and the ELWR for those who haven't satisfied it. But if you go to placementtest.ucr.edu, that website should have answers to that question. If our AP scores regarding English and math were posted on our student profile, does that mean we are excused from the English placement test and MAE? Generally, yes. Okay. If there aren't any, let's see. I'm in a similar situation. I was told bring paper copies of your AP score report to orientation, and they should be able to cover it for you, even if they have not been processed by the school. Yeah. Yes, that is correct. If you have paper copies, you can show those to your academic advisor, and they should be able to enter something into the registration system to allow you to enroll in the appropriate courses that rely on the AP score. Okay, well, once again, we wish you a successful and productive Highlander orientation session. We will see you at least over the next 2 days, those of you who attend session 1, and we look forward to seeing all of you and working with all of you in September and beyond. Good luck to all of you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, good luck.